Okay, let me pull this up, but I'm not seeing it. It's up there. I may have to have you do it. It's not showing up on this one right here. So if you just walk along with me. I'm glad you're here today. We're going to be in Acts chapter 12. And as I said before, this is about jailbreak. This is when Peter is broken out of jail by an angel, which happens because Jesus gave Peter a promise. We're talking about 40-something AD. So Jesus has been gone now for probably about 10 years or so. Peter is out doing ministry, and he's in his ministry and works, and he's in Jerusalem. And he's in Jerusalem, there's a king, not really a king, but a Roman high official. His name is Herod. There's three Herods that you need to know. This new Herod is Herod Agrippa. Herod Agrippa had a small time frame, and in that time that's the one we'll have in this passage today. Before him was Herod Antipas. Herod Antipas was the Herod at the time that Jesus was crucified. So he was that Herod. And then we have Herod the Great. Herod the Great was the one who was on the throne, if you will, for Rome when Jesus was born. And when Jesus was born, Herod was the one that the three wise men went to, and he asked them, hey, show me where he's at so I can go worship him, which was a big trick because he ended up having all the baby boys under 2 years old killed. Remember that guy? Okay, so these three Herods are related. Herod the Great and the Herod that we're talking about today, that's his grandson. Okay? So I want you to connect those so you're not thinking it's the same one. Or anyway, I'm also a history guy. I like history. So I wanted you to connect those pieces so you know who we're talking about. This Herod is a Herod that had gotten himself into some trouble in Rome. And he had gotten into himself actually very financially in trouble. He was in debt greatly. And actually he was seized in Rome. And then they released him. Tiberius released him and shot him all the way down to Jerusalem and said, you can run that down the Palestine zone, you run that down there. And then about a year into it, they gave him an extended land called Samaria and Judea, and they extended his land. So now he's in charge. But he is not well favored in the Roman government. So what happens when people aren't liked? If you notice, when people aren't liked, they find a way for somebody to like them. You with me? So that's what he did here. He found a way for someone to like him. The ones that he found to like him were the Jews in the place that did not like the movement of the way, which in those days would have been called the way, which was Jesus. Okay? So he goes out and he claims where we pick up the picture right now. So chapter 12, verse number 1 says this. Now about that time, Herod the king stretched out his hand to harass some of the church, which is the Christians. Then he killed James, the brother of John, with a sword. This is the first martyr of the apostles. This is the first martyr of the apostles. The first martyr was Stephen, who was brought in somewhere around chapter 7, chapter 8. He was the first one because he was preaching Jesus as well, and they stoned him. And that's where we have Saul's entrance. But this is the first apostle, the one that worked with and walked with Jesus on earth. And it was James. James was the brother of John. Verse number 3, and because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to seize Peter also. Now this was during the days of the unleavened bread. So when he had arrested him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 squads of soldiers to keep him, intending to bring him before the people after the Passover. Okay, so like I said, when nobody likes you, you got to find somebody who likes you. That's just human nature. Herod, he wasn't liked in the Roman world. They gave him a place because of his name and his heritage. And all of a sudden he decides, you know what, I'm going to try to win some favor here. And so he goes out and he takes a hold of James, the brother of John, and kills him. Well, the Jewish people that were against Jesus were very pleased with this, excited about this. They were glad that somebody was going to stop this. Pharisees wanted it. The Sadducees wanted it. The Sanhedrin wanted it. Everybody that was in that know, they wanted this Jesus thing stopped so they could continue to move on because they did not believe in Jesus as the Messiah. So in this process, he finds out the Jews liked when James was killed. Not all of them. Remember, there's believers now. In the process, he decides, you know what? What I'm going to do now is, since they like that, I'm going to go after this other guy named Peter. He seems to be a lead runner. So I'm going to go after Peter. So he arrests Peter. Now, Peter gets arrested, and he puts 4 squads on him. That's 16 soldiers on him. You with me? For one dude. One guy. So he puts him in jail. We'll read a little bit further. You'll see why he did that. Give me that next verse. Verse number 5 should show up on the screen. Yeah. Verse number 5 should show up on the screen. There it goes. Peter was therefore kept in the prison, but constant prayer was offered to God for him. So when Peter is now in prison, in those days, prisons weren't like our prisons. They were basically forms of dungeons. Damp. Graphically, it was damp. It was road infested. It was just a nightmare. And by doing so, they would put 4 men, 2 outside, 2 inside. The 2 inside were chained to Peter. So you had 2 guards chained to him on each arm. How would you like to sleep with people chained to you? In basically a dark dungeon. That's how it was done. But now the church at that time is fervently praying. They're praying in a big way. Verse number 5 says, then Peter therefore was kept in prison, but the constant prayer was offered to God for him by the church. Okay, well, give me that next slide, and I'll show you what that looks like. Constant means to be fully stretched out. It's a medical term to stretch a muscle to its fullest. Have you ever prayed that way, where you're just completely stretched to the max? That's what it means. Constant prayer means to be stretched to the max. And the other one, offered, means without ceasing, fervent, having an intense urgency on your prayer. So the church at this time is meeting, and they are praying constantly and fervently. So they are taking it, they're stretched to the max. They're continuing to pray even beyond what normal prayer would be. They're basically praying around the clock. How long was he in jail? We don't really know how long he was in jail. We know that Herod took hold of him and arrested him, but he didn't want to do anything during the Passover week. So he put him in jail and held him until Passover was over, because had he done it during Passover, he would have lost all that credibility he had with the Jews. So he wanted to wait until it was over so they wouldn't be upset at him. So he's waiting. Well, something happens. Something good happens in the process of him waiting. In the process of the constant prayer, in the presence of the fervency of it and the urgency of the prayer, something happens. Let's read on a little bit further and you'll see what happens. Verse number 6. And when Herod was about to bring him out, that night Peter was sleeping, bound with 2 chains between 2 soldiers, and the guards before the door were keeping the prison. So if you're in that much pressure, if you're in that much stress, if you're in that much oppression, you're in a dark dungeon, how well would you sleep? I don't know if I would sleep that well. Maybe because I was exhausted. But again, chained to 2 people, that would be hard to sleep. I'm a side sleeper. That'd be kind of hard for that other soldier. Right? Go a bit further and you'll see verse number 7. Now behold, an angel of the Lord stood by him, and a light shone in the prison, and he struck Peter on the side and raised him up, saying, arise quickly, and the chains fell off his hands. Talk about sleeping deep. The angel had to strike him. Have you read that? Did you see that? Peter is sleeping between 2 soldiers in the middle of the night in a dungeon, and the angel comes in and he's shining. First off, that would wake me up, probably. And Peter's just so comfortable. He's just sleeping hard. And the angel has to say, bud, get up. Get up. So he has to tell him what to do. If you ever wondered, God, what do I do? This shows you that God will tell you what to do. If you're listening, God will tell you what to do. Verse number 8. Then the angel said to him, gird yourself, which is, in other words, put your robe on, tie your sandals. And so he did. And he said to him, put on your garment and follow me. Basically, get dressed. We got places to go, people to see. Come on, pick it up. I think sometimes we read scripture like, oh yeah, that was interesting. Okay. All right, well, good for Peter. This was crazy, folks. This was nuts. This is a fortified prison with Roman guards, 4 of them, 2 guarding the door, 2 strapped to him, and every so many hours, like every 6 hours, a new set of 4 guards would come in and replace him. So he was never away from 2 people strapped to him. And all of a sudden now an angel shows up in the middle of the night. And he's sleeping so hard he had to smack him. And then he has to tell him, dude, get up. Okay, now dress yourself. Okay, now what? Well, follow me. Where are we going? Put on the garment, follow me. So when he went out and he followed him and did not know what was being done by the angel was real, but he thought he was seeing a vision. Poor Peter, he's so beloved. Have you ever just had to wake up startled? And you're like, is this really happening? Down south, when we lived down south, there were times that we were woken up by an earthquake. And it wakes you up, and you're not sure what's happening. And you're trying to get your bearings. So Peter he's up, and he's getting dressed, and he's looking at this angel like, what are you? And he looks at the Roman soldiers, they're still asleep. He's like, am I dreaming? He's trying to am I dreaming this? I mean, is this real? And he starts walking out with his angel. He says a vision, verse number 10, when they were past the first and second guard post, they came to an iron gate that leads to the city, which opened to them of its own accord. And he went out and went down the street, and immediately the angel departed from him. Okay, I hope that you will just picture this for a moment. Peter has been in jail now, in a basically dungeon, chained to 2 people that are mean. The Romans. At that time, there was no connection. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, this angel shows up, shining like crazy, smacks him, says, get up, man. Put your clothes on, get dressed. We got places to go. Tie your sandals. All right. And Peter's like, okay. And his chains fell off. The Romans never even got awoke. And he starts walking out the door. Now we're going to the front door where there's 2 more guards. And we're just going to walk right by them because I don't know what's happening, but I'm going to follow this angel. And he gets out to the next major gate. And he gets to that gate, and those Roman guards are like, okay. And they don't even, and he walks right through them. And now they're walking down the street with an angel leading the way. And he gets to this major gate, and it just goes. I want you to picture the Red Sea. When the Red Sea parted, it was out of their control. It happened in a way in which they're like, what is happening? Folks, this iron gate just went shoo. And Peter's like, whoa. And they're walking down the street, and the angel is gone. Gone. What does Peter do now? Peter is a jailbreaker. Did he do it on his own? No. Who got him out? God. God got him out. Why did God get him out? Fervent prayers. Prayers of the church. Prayers of the church and a promise of Jesus. In John chapter 21, verse number 18, you'll see that Jesus gives Peter his information on his life and says, when you were young, this happened, but now when you're older, he's talking about you will be martyred, but when you're old. So Peter's like, I'm not old. How many of you agree that you are not old right now? There we go. That's what I'm talking about. I am not old. Jessica, you're not old. We look at it and we think to ourselves, I'm not old. And Peter's sitting there in this jail cell saying, oh, Jesus promised me that I would die a martyr. Old. And I am not old. So I'm good. Who else gave you that example? Jesus did. When Jesus lived on the earth, he knew, he would always say, it is not yet my time. What did he knew? He knew that there was a plan. He knew that they could do whatever they wanted to him, but there was a time when Jesus knew it was his time, and all the others were not his time. He lived with that, and he understood that. Peter is the same way. He now understands what Jesus said. Now he lives his life like that, and he says, you know what? I can tell this is not my time. Because Jesus holds every promise, and he told me his words, John chapter 21, verse number 18, which they didn't know John chapter 21, verse number 18 at that time. But we do. And it's in the red letter, so it was Jesus telling him this promise. So he understood, man, I'm going to live till I'm old. This ain't happening. But yet during the miracle, Peter's like, is this happening? Am I really walking out with an angel? Am I really moving out of here with an angel? Am I really doing this? This doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. Have you ever walked with Jesus in a way in which you just didn't feel right? Because you couldn't believe what was happening? That's what's happening right now. Jesus is rescuing him because Peter still has a ministry to do. Peter still has a place to go. Peter still has things to do. And he's got places to be. So when we look at this thing, we've got to understand that there are three things I want you to get. Give me that next slide that gives us the first thing that you need to get. Trouble can come anytime from anywhere. Do you think Peter knew he was in trouble? Probably not. But when James was killed, he probably said, whoa, that's not good. Next thing you know, he's arrested. Do you think he was assuming he would be? No, I think it happened. How many of us in our life, trouble comes from us at any time, anywhere, we just didn't expect it? It's coming. It comes, right? So as a Christian, we need to always understand that trouble will come. Trouble will come when we least expect it. So what does that mean? That we need to always be on guard. Always be on guard. Always be ready to represent. Always be ready for whatever's happened. When it happens, should we get frustrated? That's the number one thing that I do as a witness to you. When bad things happen to me, I'm like, oh, gosh, please. I wish I was different. And I'm striving every day to be better. Because when bad things happen to me, I need to say, okay, God, what's happening? Okay, God, what's happening? What's happening, Lord? I need to show me because evidently something's happening. We need to anticipate things are going to happen. And when they happen, we need to draw to God, not try to figure out the problem. If we're trying to figure out the problem, we're not drawing to God. What happens? The more I draw to God, guess what? God reveals it. What happened when God revealed it? God revealed it in such a way that he gave an angel and walked him right out. Trouble's going to come anytime, anywhere. Are you understanding that it's okay for trouble to come at any time from anywhere? It's okay. Matter of fact, Jesus even told us it would happen. He told us it would. If trouble happens to you in this type of way, in any way, I'm not saying be put in prison, but in any way, you should thank God for it. Okay, Lord, you entrusted me to be in the middle of this problem. How can I live more for you? Show me, Lord. Show me. How am I going to live more for you? The number one thing did, the church prayed. Church prayed fervently, constantly, in a way in which it was stretching the church. Stretching the church. Go a little bit further. I want you to see something really, really important. Verse number 10, and when they were past the first and second guard post, they came to an iron gate that leads to the city, which opened to them of its own accord. And he went out and went down the street, and immediately an angel departed from him. Verse number 11, and when Peter had come to himself, he said, Peter is still feeling like he's dreaming, but he's not. And when the angel leaves him, all of a sudden he's like, this is for real, man. This is for real. Peter was walking in the shadowy light, if you will. And I say shadowy light, I mean he was in it, but it's all around him. The angel shone. And when the angel was gone, now it's back to nighttime, and he's out of and he's like, oh, this is really happening. Where did he go? Where did he go? And when Peter had come to himself, now I know for certain that the Lord has sent his angel and delivered me from the hand of Herod and from all the expectations of the Jewish people. So when he had considered this, he came to the house of Mary, the mother of John, whose surname was Mark, where many were gathered together praying. What time is this? Middle of the night. What is the people in the house doing? Praying. praying. That's why we can look at it and say, constant, without ceasing, urgent, stretching prayer. Now, this Mary is not the Mary of Jesus. It's not the Mary of Martha and Mary. This is the Mary of the mother of the name John, who's John Mark, who travels with Paul later on. But historically, they believed that this was the house, Mary, this was the house that they believed the Last Supper was at. So you're putting pieces together. He goes there. Now, this is where it gets a little bit funny. It gets a little bit funny in the story. When they were gathered together praying, that's the church, verse number 13, and Peter knocking at the door of the gate, and a girl named Rhoda came and answered it. And when she recognized Peter's voice, because of her gladness, she did not open the gate. Poor Peter. But ran and announced that Peter stood at the gate. But they said to her, "You are beside yourself." Yet she kept insisting that it was so. So they said, "It is an angel." Why would they say that? Lowercase angel. There was a Jewish tradition at this time in history that they believed that everyone had a guardian angel. Okay, we've all heard of this before, right? But at this time, they believed that their guardian angel could show up as you. So they're saying, Rhoda, I know we've been praying fervently all night, for days, but we just don't believe God would do that. Have you ever prayed, but you really didn't believe it would happen? That's what's happening here. They're praying fervently. God hears their prayer. Aren't you glad that God hears your prayer without your doubt? There we go. Are you ready? Let it just sit there and marinate for a minute. God hears your prayer without your doubt. Because they were praying, but when Peter shows up and is knocking, literally knocking at the gate, they're like, Rhoda. I know you think you saw him, but I'm pretty sure it was just an angel. In other words, it's a hologram of Peter. I know it probably looks good. I know you're probably tired. It's okay. Poor Peter. Okay. Because of her gladness, she did not open the gate, but ran and announced that Peter stood at the gate. And they said, "No, it's an angel." Verse number 16. Now Peter continued knocking. And when they opened the door and saw him, they were astonished. But motioning with them with his hand to keep silent. Okay, Peter's a jailbreaker. He's been out there knocking. Rhoda comes and goes, "No way." And runs back in. And she's telling everybody about this. Peter's still out there going, "Rhoda? Gosh. And finally, they come back out. They're expecting to see nothing. They're expecting that Rhoda saw an angel of Peter. Are you with me? But they're coming to the gate saying, "Ain't nothing going to be there. Come with me, Rhoda, so we can prove it to you. Come on, Rhoda." And they get there and they open the door like, "It's you." And now they're making all kinds of noise. And Peter's like, "Bring it down, bring it down." It's like when the stadium's going nuts for the winning team, the home team. And they're trying to make their call. And the home team and the place is going nuts. And the home team's making audible. They're like, "Bring it down just a minute, folks. I got to do something here." Peter's like, "Just bring it down. Please bring it down. You don't understand. I'm out of jail." This is so amazing. What did God do? God got Peter out of something that Peter never decided to get into. Have you ever gotten into something you didn't know you got into? Yeah. And before long, you're into something you didn't know you got into, and it's got you handcuffed. It's got you locked down. And now you're like, what am I going to do? I didn't know how I got into this mess. I don't even know what I got into. Give me the next one. The next one is this. Nothing can keep you away from God. He's in a jail, in a dungeon, strapped to guys with gate and another gate in the middle of the night, and yet what does God do? Poof. Poof. Wake up. Get dressed. Tie your shoes. Let's go, man. Let's go. Don't worry about those dudes. I got you. I got you. There's nothing that can keep you away from God. There's nothing that can keep God from getting to you. Hello. That right there should be enough. That should be enough. If you're in deep somewhere, trouble that you got into, God can still get to you with a plan of escape. Who has the plan of escape? God. God has the plan of escape. Give me that third point. Third point is this. Fervent prayer is vital to the church. Fervent prayer is vital to the church. What was it that created all the synergy? The prayer of the church. The prayer of the church. Fervent prayer. This is a word that we have to understand that goes deeper. It means continual. It means without ceasing. It means stretching the church. It means making sure that you know with all earnesty that this prayer is you giving it to God. You're giving yourself to God in this way of prayer. It is a hard prayer. It is a hard prayer. And the church was doing this non-season because they met in the middle of the night to pray. Now I want you to catch this. Give me that last slide up there. It says that fervent, intense, constant stretching prayer leads to jailbreak. Leads to jailbreak. You're like, well, I'm not in jail. Well, maybe you're not in jail, but maybe there's something in your life you need to escape from. Thank you. You get it. Maybe there's something in your life you need to escape from. If there's something in your life that has you, maybe it's haunting you. Maybe it's got you wrapped up. Maybe you got into it, didn't even know you got into it. Maybe it's got you controlled, contained, everything. Maybe whatever it is, fervent, continual, stretching. What else have I got up there? Constant, intense prayer can jailbreak you. Can jailbreak you from it. Why? Because God wants you to know He can do it. So many times in our life, we think we have to will ourselves into breaking ourselves out. And God says, time out. Time out. If you didn't put yourself in the problem, that means that I put you in there so that I can break you out, so that my name is glorified, not yours. Amen. So often we want to glorify ourselves. Matter of fact, you read the rest of the chapter, this Herod was getting praised by the people, and he didn't give God any glory. And God gave him worms and he died. Give God the glory. Is there something in your life that's got you bound? It could be worry. We always, when we ask this question, when a pastor asks this question, people always look at the biggest, baddest things. Okay, go there for a minute. Okay, now we're done with those. Now let's get down to real life. What's got you bound? Is it worry? Is it finances? Is it stress? Is it your job? Is it your kids? What is it in your life that has you, that's occupying space in your mind where that space should be given to God? What is it that's stealing that amount of time from God and it's taken up from you? You need to be jailbroken. Let Jesus jailbreak you. Let him do it. How do I do that, Pastor? Prayer. We know the word prayer, but do we give ourselves to prayer? When you give yourself to prayer, that means nothing else in this world matters. And you lay yourself on the altar as if I am giving myself to you, God. In prayer, I'm praying fervently, which means without ceasing. I'm praying intensely, God. I'm going to pray until something happens. That's the key. Pray until something happens. Pray until something happens. If there's something in your life, I want you to pray until something happens. Don't dwell on the problem. Dwell on the fixer. Don't dwell on the problem. Dwell on the fixer. Dwell on the fixer. There's nothing that can keep God from getting to you. And God, when Jesus died on that cross, took away everything that can keep you from him. He tore the veil, opened it wide open so you can access him anytime, anywhere. If trouble can come anytime, anywhere, you can access God anytime, anywhere. He made it that way. Let him come on in. Let him come on in. Let him break you free. Let him break you free from whatever it is. It's a real story. Peter, chained the very night before he's supposed to be executed. And God shows up and walks him out. You know, at this point, we don't know what happened to Peter. He left. Herod looked all over for him and couldn't find him. He shows back up in chapter 15 with a very powerful statement. And those statements in chapter 15 are the last words we hear from Peter. Until he's eventually crucified in the 60s AD. And he refused to be crucified like Jesus. So he requested to be crucified upside down. He gave his life. He gave his life. I pray that this church says, when trouble comes, we come this way. I pray that when trouble comes into your life, you go to Jesus. Don't dwell on the problem. Dwell on the fixer. Dwell on the one who can step into anything and he can walk right past the guards and pull you right out and set you on solid ground. Jesus is the ultimate jailbreaker because he loves you that much. Lord, today I give you my praise because there's nothing like you. And Lord, I pray that in our time in life, we would see you. We would see you jailbreaking people all over the place, away from all the problems that they deal with, the ones that are consuming them. Lord, those that are dealing with doubt, those that are dealing with worry, those that are dealing with stress, those that are dealing with depression, those that are dealing with financial issues, those that are dealing with all kinds of, there's so many things, Lord, that can consume us. So we're so focused on the problem that we so much easily forget that you are the fixer. You are the jailbreaker. You're the one who can break us free at any time, anywhere. We have full access to you, and there is nothing that can keep you from us. And I'm so grateful for this, Lord. So grateful. As we close the service, at least a part of it, and I want you to know this is in confidence, just confidential. I want to be able to pray with you. No one's looking around. My eyes only, and I'm only saying this because I want to pray with you. And that is anyone in the room that is dealing with anything, stress, worry, doubt, anything that has you kind of wrapped up. I want to pray with you. Is there anyone that raised their hand and say, I got one of those. I got something in my life. Yep. All right. Yeah. Father, you saw the hands. And Lord, I pray on behalf of these hands, as an intercede, Lord, on behalf of these hands, Lord, that you will bring the comfort. Lord, you will bring that jailbreak. Lord, that we will pray fervently for it. We will be intense for it. That it will stretch us and we will still believe. Thank you that Jesus died on the cross and he removed any barrier to you, Father. Lord, bless these hands. Bless the issue that they are dealing with. And I ask God for you to remove it. Free them up and jailbreak it. In your holy name I pray. Amen. All right. Aaron, if we could have the ushers come at this time, we'll take up our morning offering.